There are some signs of progress on ending the government shutdown. Lawmakers are expressing cautious optimism about renewed bipartisan talks, but this comes as rhetoric is heating up over expiring food assistance funding.
SNAP recipients shouldn't go without food. People should be getting paid in this country. And we've tried to do that 13 times. And you voted no 13 times.
While Donald Trump is dreaming of well-done steaks with ketchup to be eaten in his gold-encrusted ballroom, little kids will go hungry.
Republican Congressman Kevin Kiley and Democratic Congresswoman Lauren Gillen both joined the takeout last night to discuss what they are actually doing during the government shutdown. Here's what they had to say.
Well, for my part, I've been trying to have conversations with folks on both sides of the aisle. And because I have made a point of actually being here since even though the House is out of session, a lot of people have stopped by my office, have called and said, how can we find some common ground here? So we've had some very constructive conversations. That's the good news. Bad news is, of course, the government remains closed with really just escalating consequences for millions of Americans.
So I've been advocating with the Department of Agriculture. There is a reserve fund of $5 billion. It's a contingency fund that could be utilized to make sure that these SNAP programs are getting the funding they need to get food out to the people who need it. That has fallen on deaf ears, and it's really unfortunate that using hunger is being used as a political weapon to try to get a certain political results or to point the fingers at the other side. That's not the way we should govern as Americans. We should be working together to do what's in the best interest of all our constituents. This hunger does not just help people in blue states, it helps people in red states, it helps people from both parties, all parties, no parties. And we in Congress have a job to make sure that we are feeding our citizens.
Now, this is the reason things are getting so intense. This weekend, more than 40 million Americans across the country who rely on SNAP, that's the Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program, they won't get their monthly benefit because of the shutdown. So let's dig in here and look at who relies on this aid and where the effects of funding running out will be felt heaviest. About 12% of the country relies on SNAP each month, according to the U.S. Department of Agriculture. You see what that breaks down to next to me, about 42 million Americans or 23 million households. And of those households, almost 80% have someone inside who is a child, elderly, or disabled, and almost three-quarters had a gross monthly income at or below the poverty level. Now, when you break this down nationally, take a look at this map. Every single state has at least some percentage of its population receiving SNAP, and the deeper the green, the larger the percentage of the population in that state that receives SNAP benefits. And you may see the highest rates include New Mexico, Oregon, Louisiana, and in Oklahoma. In New Mexico, for example, which has the largest percentage of residents receiving SNAP benefits, it's an example of how important this aid can be supporting those facing poverty. An average of 60,000 people, which include 25,000 children, each year between 2015 and 2019, were lifted above the poverty line because of SNAP benefits. Now, just before the suspension was set to take effect, 25 states and Washington, D.C. sued the Trump administration, claiming the pause in funding is unlawful. The state's attorneys general argue that there is a $5 billion contingency fund that can be used to continue providing benefits through November. The USDA has said those funds cannot be touched to cover, quote, regular benefits and should be reserved for people impacted by natural disasters.